how does a 12 and 13-year-old kid get to that point in their life that they're able to do something like that? It's just, you can't fathom it.
Now, it's been about a week since CBS we last talked to you.
Right.
Talk to me about the neighborhood in that week since this.
You know, I tell you what I have noticed more since that happened is police presence. And that's a good thing. As a matter of fact, there's one turning the corner right now coming down the road. You know, that is probably the only good thing that came out of this. You know, it's terrible tragedy.
Do you talk to a lot of your neighbors, or is everybody kind of rattled about this?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, sure.
Tell me about that in your own words.
You know, I mean, I talked to the neighbors, and the age of the kids that's come out that did it is just, you know, they can't understand it. They can't fathom that a kid's that young could get themselves in that situation.
Before we get to the kids, I definitely want to ask more about that in a second. But what about just, I know when we were talking, just the concern about crime. Is it like, did it just, not the fact that it was kids, the fact that it happened at all, did it rattle the neighborhood?
Oh, well, sure. Absolutely it rattled the neighborhood. Of course it would. You know, anything happening like that in this area or anywhere, I'm sure it would upset everybody in the neighborhood. You know, I'm sure everybody is more looking over their shoulder right now and wondering what the heck's going on.
So now to move on to that topic, you know, we're learning today that a 12 and 13-year-old have been arrested in connection to this. What do you think about that?
You know, it's hard to understand. It's hard. My mind really can't hardly go there. You know, I mean, that young of children being able to do something like that, it's just, what causes it? You know, is it just the times and things that are going on in the times? Is it upbringing? You know, how does a 12 and 13-year-old kid get to that point in their life that they're able to do something like that? It's just, you can't fathom it.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, even without their age, this is kind of horrific, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They stole a car, the family chased them down, they hit the guy, shoot him in front of his family.
I mean, how does that happen? You know, that's not something that happens in this area, those kind of things. I mean, there's been crime. There's cars that are being broken into, you know, and it's mostly kids getting what they can out of a car. That there's a lot of that, you know, and I hear now and then of some assaults, but mostly it's just domestic stuff like that. But we have had some crime. Like I said before, my truck was stolen out of my driveway. This gentleman was followed home from a little road rage thing, and they shot him, got him in the jaw. He lived through it. They shot my house up. I have holes in my garage door, and my car got shot just from this one incident. That's been a couple of years ago. But that was like a road rage kind of thing that happened a couple miles away.
I guess just in closing, talk to me about, you know, shocking that there's 12 and 13-year-old, but at least there's been arrests. They've been charged with capital murder.
Absolutely.
I mean, what do you think about that for your neighborhood, for this family that are presumably neighbors of yours?
You know, I feel for the family for sure. How could you not? I mean, that's horrible, horrible, horrible. It is wonderful that they were able to find them that soon. You know, I feel very sad for the kids. You know, what's going to happen in their life now, though, it's probably ruined forever. You know, it's terrible. The whole situation. I mean, it's saddening that things like that could happen.
Before we even get into the particulars, just something like this happening in your neighborhood. It happened earlier this month. How's the neighborhood been doing?
It's pretty shocking for everyone that something like this happened here. It happened like on the main road that everyone uses to get in and out of the neighborhood, so everyone was kind of aware that something serious had happened, and it was just shocking and sad and confusing. Like, we weren't sure if it was, you know, what exactly had happened, if it was kids that had been run over because it was by the school, so not sure.
Did you know the neighbors involved?
I don't know the neighbors involved. They're actually in a subdivision that's not near us or like further down from
Oh,
this
really?
subdivision.
So they chased it that far.
Yeah, the chase came all the way over here. It happened like the car was stolen in a different subdivision, and the accident or the bad situation happened here.
So today, to learn that it was kids that were involved, what do you think of that? A 12 and 13-year-old arrested for capital murder.
It's extremely saddening to hear that they were that young. So sad, and even more shocking, because we had heard in the news and in the Facebook groups and stuff that there was teenagers, and there was a lot of footage, of them breaking into cars and things like that. And so we knew that they were young adults, possibly teenagers, but to find out that they were that young, it's just extremely, extremely sad.
Yeah, and it's got to be, even though the family doesn't live in this neighborhood, I guess I'm now learning it's just got to be sad for them too.
Yes, definitely. The mother has been posting like a lot of information on the Facebook groups and things like that. So this is a close-knit community, and we all try to watch out for each other. And a lot of people have been here for decades, and so everybody kind of knows everyone and things like that. But with the new subdivisions being built all around us, it's kind of just like becoming more prevalent or things like this.
I guess, in closing, as sad as it is that kids are involved, when you think about there at least being arrests here, and that, the people involved, regardless of their age, have been found by police.
Yeah, definitely. My initial sentiment was that, regardless if it was teenagers, like whoever did this, it was a serious, horrible crime to run over someone and things like that. So, we needed accountability, and I, was hoping that someone would get caught, but I just never expected and never hoped that it would be someone so young or anything like that just hasn't even began their life, things like that.